Today saw the Scottish launch of the Inspiring Women campaign, an initiative aimed at encouraging girls in state schools to aim high in their chosen careers. 10 senior women from politics, business and the arts took part in a networking event at New College, Lanarkshire, talking directly with 100 girls about their experiences, their job and how they got there.
I feel like there's it's much less of a problem these days, but I think there always still will be that barrier because people see women as not as strong and independent as men, so we need to show them.
I was kind of shocked how passionate they were, because I thought they might just do it for the money, but they really enjoyed it.
Well, I want to do engineering, and I know that that's a place that there's not many girls, and I think that things like this really inspire girls to do things like that. It was really interesting to hear about politics and what you can do to get into that path.
Quite liked all the women who had two jobs, they'd start on one and had another, and it just showed that you don't have to confine yourself to one particular career. You can branch out and do a lot of things. Those attitudes, the old attitudes that women aren't as good, because these women are proving quite clearly that we are just as good.
I think the interest that the girls all showed was just fascinating. The questions they asked were sometimes difficult and challenging, but actually they were great questions.
So inspired by the young people because they're so switched on and focused on what they want to do. So many of them already made decisions of what they want to do. But what I was advising them is to not close any doors and to take every opportunity that comes along.
I have two young girls myself, and it's worried me in the last few years the amount of role models that we have are not quite what I would like for my girls to see as a British woman, with all the kind of false eyelashes and enhancing their bodies rather than their careers. So for me, I think this is fantastic to see very successful women and these young girls seeing how they've managed to get there.
Well, with us now are Angela Mitchell, a partner at the finance firm Deloitte, and Siobhan Smith, a lecturer at New College, Lanarkshire. Thanks for joining us. Siobhan, why do we still need events like this, do you think?
I think it's really, really important that we have really strong female role models for our students. I think that over the years we have seen a lot of students coming to us with aspirations who really want to achieve, who want to go as far as they can, and I think these events are absolutely crucial to show that there are possibilities out there that they maybe haven't thought of, and that they too can have those opportunities.
Well, was that your sense of Angela being there and talking to the girls?
Absolutely. There was a real sense of energy. They were so engaged, and we got questions fired at us from all angles, and they were just really, really interested.
So what inspired you then?
I had lots of great support through my career. I've always worked in a very male-dominated field, though, from university all the way through to my current career. So particularly in the early stages, I haven't had a female role model. And I think it's so important to encourage other women into, particularly in my own field of technology, to have that female role model that they can look to and say, I can do that. I could be sitting where she is.
But you didn't have that, and you still overcame it. How did that come about?
I think at that point, I've always had support through school and university and through my early career of people not closing down opportunities to me, giving me that confidence that I could still achieve. So it didn't really occur to me until I started to look around in other fields, and I saw actually there are a lot more women there, and recognising that I was often the only woman in the room. But interestingly enough, in my own team now, there's probably about 50-50, and I just think it makes a difference. Even if you don't do anything more than just being there, having that critical mass of females makes a difference.
And Siobhan, we're almost two generations, if you like, into equality, maybe even more than that. It's since the 60s this has been driven forward, and yet are we making the progress that needs to be made?
I think that we're now beginning to see the progress start, because I think we have a far more coordinated and structured approach that we maybe didn't have before, and I think that has certainly come in with the New Qualities Act, with our protected characteristics, and coming from a college point of view, then we work really, really hard at ensuring that equality is at the heart of everything that we do with our students. And I think that events like this today just they reinforce that message, and I think that the students then can see that again, that these role models, that, you know, there are opportunities and there are chances for them to to get out there and do the same thing. So I think that it maybe has been a long time coming, but I think now we're starting to see the momentum really gain, and I think it's fantastic.
We've had a couple of tweets, quite a few actually. Juliet Swan: we need to close the pay gap, work to stop stereotyping of male and female careers, bring in gender quotas in 50-50 panels. Lorna: you don't need to inspire them, just let them flourish in their own without putting barriers in the way. What about that quotas idea, Siobhan? Is that something that you would want to see introduced? Is that something that women themselves would want to see introduced?
The idea of quotas I think, well, for example, coming from, again, a college background, what we do is we do a lot of positive campaigning now to bridge the gap. So, for example, we are looking at getting more male students into, say, things like hairdressing that were traditionally seen as female subjects. Also, vice versa, getting more female students into subjects which were traditionally seen as male subjects, like motor vehicle. In fact, our student president for New College Lanarkshire was a motor vehicle student herself and is now rising up through the ranks as the student president. So I do think that it's important, and I think that, again, we're redressing the balance as we go along, and I think it's baby steps, but I think we're getting there.
Can I maybe add that the Inspiring Women campaign is part of an overall initiative called Inspiring the Future, which is about going into schools and colleges and connecting with girls and boys. So it's not just women, and it's about connecting them with professionals across all sectors, at all grades, to really open up their eyes to other opportunities. And anybody can volunteer for it. All you need to do is register. It takes 2 minutes, and you commit to spending 1 hour a year going into schools and talking about your job and your career path, and it can really make a difference in terms of not closing down opportunities and broadening our children's minds to these things. I mean, I've got a 3-year-old son who wants to be an astronaut. You know, it would be great if he actually ended up being an astronaut, but we just want to make sure that we provide all of those opportunities to our young people, I think.
You're talking, Siobhan, about persuading girls maybe to do something other than hairdressing, for example, and more boys doing hairdressing. This is maybe controversial to say, but is there maybe a sense that that's what people are drawn to, and let them do that?
Oh, absolutely, I think so. But I think what we have to think about are the fact that where people may be drawn to do a certain thing or a certain subject, there are always going to be people who also would like to do that, but feel that they're not the right gender to go along. And I think what we want to do is to break down that barrier and to say that, you know, we want applications for both male and female students for these courses, likes of childcare, likes of hairdressing, likes of electronics, whatever it is, and that we redress that balance ever so slightly.
Angela, just very briefly, we a prominent lawyer, Miriam Gonzalez-Giranta, is known as Nick Clegg's wife, is how she would be known to some people, which is a completely different issue in itself, of course. But she was saying she doesn't aspire to have it all. And you're a very successful businesswoman, you have a family. Is it possible to have it all? Do you need to aspire to that?
I wouldn't put it in those terms. I would put it in terms of achieving everything that you possibly can and everything that you want to achieve. So when I was talking to the girls today, what I was saying is make sure you pick something that you enjoy, that you're interested in, because you spend so much of your life working, you have to enjoy it, and just try and achieve the most that you can out of that. And that applies to your personal life as well.
And very, very briefly, in a sentence, Siobhan, how will you know if this has been a success?
I know it's a success from the feedback I've already had from the students, which was that they were truly inspired by the most amazing group of women that they'd met to date.
Angela, thank you both for joining us. Thank you.